Hey guys, what's up? Today I got a 2007 Ford Escape Hybrid, or you may know it as a hybrid. And they're driving along, and it's summer here right now. And up on the dash popped Master Vehicle Electrical Hazard. Warning lamp came on, and it shut down on them. They're able to restart it and get to the dealership. And I pulled these codes out of it. Basically, it's got a P1 AOD right there, and that's where they disable the actual generator. Let me get down to the actual description here. The hybrid power inverter basically got disabled, and if you have this code, you're going to have another code, and I did have another code for it. And the reason why it shut down the generator is because it went over temp. And the other code I had was a POA3E, and that basically means the inverter went over temp. And this one right here is a condition code, whereas the other one is the cause. So you may have this code in combination with a couple other codes, and I'll put all the different codes that can happen with this down the description. Now, this is a pretty common issue with the MECS pump on these. There's actually a TSB like it states. I want you to go through a few steps. I'm going to walk you through all those steps. This is very user-friendly, and there's nothing to do with the actual hybrid system in here, so it's very safe to work on these as far as this section that we're going to be concentrating on today. Over here in the engine compartment, you'll notice there is two different coolant bottles for this system. This one right here is for the engine itself. Cools the engine like usual, and there's a separate small one back here that actually cools off the electronics. And right here is the inverter for the hybrid system, and just like any inverter, it's not perfectly efficient, so it does produce heat, just like your little plug-in inverters in your car. Has fans on it. These ones have an actual cooling circuit going through them to more efficiently cool them. When they rely on hoses, a small radiator, and an electric pump. An electric pump is what goes bad on these, so no coolant actually flows through here, and then of course the system's just going to overheat by stagnating coolant inside of there. So I'm going to go through a few quick checks you can do without a multimeter, without a scan tool, without anything, so that you can diagnose this yourself. Of course, it'd be best to get codes read by AutoZone, something like that. But I'm going to go through a few quick steps here and streamline the diagnosis, and then we're going to get to that MECS replacement pump and change it out. I'll show you how to do that. So the first thing you're going to do is take your cap off of here slowly. It may have pressure in it and be hot. We're going to put it to the side, and then we're going to go around and we're going to turn the key on in the car. Anytime the key is on in the car, engine off, the actual MECS pump will be flowing coolant and pumping coolant through here. So that's down below, but you don't even need to go that far. If the pump is working, we're going to be able to feel it right here in the hose, and this hose, and then if you look closely inside of here, and the coolant's actually clear and the gold color like it should be still, you'll see it flowing in here also, and I'll try to show you that. Okay, so ours had no vibration up top. You cannot see no coolant flow, and of course it's failing, and that's why we're getting those codes. You can come underneath here and do a quick test without any kind of scan tool or multimeter, like I said. It's right next to the oil filter. And here's the actual MECS pump right here. You can access the connector and everything else. Here's all the coolant lines. And what you can do is tap on it with a hammer or otherwise your fist, and you'll be able to feel it vibrating if it's actually pumping. And I can feel right here there's nothing pumping at all. So we're going to take a hammer to it, just like a starter, give it a light tap, and you probably hear it now. Now hopefully you were able to hear that come on when I put the camera next to it. And you can hear it's pumping now, so we can go up top and we can do the same thing and check for that coolant flow. And now that the actual pump is running, you can easily feel a vibration in these lines. I think this bottom one you can actually feel more than the top one. This one I think is connected to the radiator, whereas this one's connected actually to the pump. But either way, both lines you can definitely feel the vibration of the pump. Now also, if I can get it focused here, you should be able to see coolant flowing around in there. There you go. You probably see it. It's flowing. It's almost clear. It's, you know, gold color, but you can definitely see there's flow going on in there. And you'll be able to see a lot better in person, but this is just a demonstration. There is flow going through here. Okay, so right there between the actual flow we're getting now, we could feel it. Down below we tapped on it and it started working. We know the actual pump is failing intermittently, the actual brush contact inside of there. So we know you got to change it out. And it's very important to be able to reproduce that because those pumps are quite expensive. Now onto actual replacement, we're going to turn the key off. We're going to leave the cap off, and then we're going to go down below, pull some shields off, and we're going to pull the lines off, let them leak, actually drain out, so we can drain out the pump and the lines so that we can pull that pump off and change it out. Okay, we got our key off, our car raised up. We got our shield out of the way, which I had to pull a tire for. The shield just comes out, a couple 10mm bolts, just follow it around. And now we got free access to our MECS pump. It's very easy to get to and change out. And we're going to walk you through it right now. There's one hose clamp right here, and this is the lowest fitting, so we're going to loosen it. Tuck the line out of the way, let it finish draining. Now while it's draining, we can pull off the electrical connector in the back side, put it to the side also, make sure it's not corroded or anything. And then we can get this clamp for the top hose, the other hose, off of there while it's still mounted up. And then it's simply two 10mm bolts. Ground out of the way. It's going to leak some more. And then you can bring it down like this and start loosening this hose. Then make sure the outside and the inside of the hoses is clean, so you don't get no new leaks or anything. Any kind of scale or rust inside of there. Reconnect your hoses, and then you're going to want to put your hose clamps in the same spot they were taken off. There should be indents and you should be able to see them. And then your other hose. Again, make sure your clamp is in the right location. After that, just bolt it back up. Don't forget your ground. And then you got your electrical connector. Goes right in, it's the same style. There we go, nice and secure. Alright, once your pump is installed down below there and your shield is back on, your wheel is back on, we need to come back up top here and fill the coolant and bleed it. Now I'm going to be doing a vacuum fill and bleed, but I'm guessing you don't have that fancy tool just laying around. So what you can do is come over here to the top of the transaxle and you look straight down behind the air filter here, and let's see, it's right there. let's see, right there, there's a little plug right there, and that actually is a bleeder plug for the MECS cooling system. And you pull this plug out, and then we're going to fill the cooling system, the cooling bottle, until it starts coming out over here. And that'll purge all the air out through the whole system from one side to the other. And then we're going to put the cap back on, and then you're going to turn the ignition on so the pump runs, and then you're going to come back over here and you're going to open that again until you start seeing coolant come out. After that, you can tighten it up, and the rest of the air will bleed out through the regular bleeder system here that's designed into the system. So I'll just give you a short example of how the system works with the vacuum bleeder. You basically just connect this vacuum fill tool up, put air to it, creates a Venturi effect, and it'll actually vacuum out all the air from the system. And once we fill it, the coolant will fill all the voids in the vacuum system. And you just let it go on there until it reaches around 25 inches of vacuum or more. And we are holding vacuum, so we're good to go. And then you literally just connect this up to a bottle that's filled with 50/50 water and gold coolant from Ford, the VC-7-B. And then you turn these valves and it'll actually fill it perfectly without any air in the system. And it'll automatically stop also, so it's a pretty cool tool, but definitely not needed. This one filled awful fast. Small system. And there it is, all filled perfectly to the top. Now I'm going to go turn the key on and let my system bleed out too, just in case there's any possibility of air in the system, and get it flowing through there. And we can also verify that the new pump is working, because it is possible to get a bad new pump. You can definitely tell the new pump is running. So let it run for a while. And after that, just make sure that your coolant level is full to the cold marks on there. And then put your cap back on and make sure it's tight. And over the next couple of days, just make sure you go under the hood and you check it out every once in a while. And make sure that there's no sudden drop in that coolant tank, because there's going to be some air bleed still going on either way. So it's going to drop a little bit. Just keep an eye on it. And besides that, there's not much to working on these hybrids for the most part. There's a lot of small components, like the blend doors in the back for the cooling system for the batteries, that will actually shut the system down, because cooling of the batteries is very important. So, and all the converters and the inverters, they all need cooling to function properly, and they're closely monitored. So once that system starts overheating, it will let you know. So good thing is, most of this stuff, the small sensors and little pumps and actuators, you can fix yourself. And as I get them in, I'll be doing more videos on these on the low voltage side, so that you guys can save a little money and keep your hybrids going down the road.